Hello, we are at part 3 of my story. So it is the Monday after Thanksgiving. I have no idea how we got through Thanksgiving. I don't remember it at all. But the morning of the Monday after Thanksgiving, Brian and I show up at a bus stop and we take a bus to Wildwood, New Jersey. It was the only place, I guess, that was going somewhere other than Allentown. So we take the bus, we get on. I'm sick. I just remember being so sick. We go to Wildwood. We get a motel. We don't have much money at all. We get a motel. We have cash. I remember that, of course, because how else did you travel back then? And these people gave us a room at a motel. 2 16-year-olds. Isn't that weird? I don't know. I think it's weird. I guess not back then. So we do that and we go out to dinner that night. The next morning we wake up and he says, okay, I'm going to call my parents. Okay, fine. Calls his parents, tells them where we are, and they come get us. Poor people had to drive all the way to Wildwood to come get us, but they did. They show up, use a map, right? Remember, like we gave them an address and they got us. On the way home, we talk a little bit about the pregnancy, a little bit about our plans, not too much. I'm still sick. Okay, people, I mean, oh my God, I can just remember being so sick and as if like nobody understood, or I don't know. They probably didn't understand how sick I was, but I'm sure nerves didn't help and the whole situation didn't help either. We get home, I go home, everything's pretty good, I have to say. There's some other things going on, but I'm not getting into that in this video. We talk about the baby. My parents are pretty cool. I mean, my mom had me when she was 17 and she had to drop out of high school. I didn't even have to drop out of high school. I was going to stay in. The plan was good, okay? Everything was great. And it was such a relief after all that time of keeping a secret and being sick. Now I could talk about it freely and I could be sick and have my mom take care of me. And, you know, it was going well. I remember her calling the cheerleading coach and telling him, and everything was good. Until one night, Brian shows up at my house and he is crying, just bawling his eyes out. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? And he said, you have to come with me. We got to go to my house and talk to my parents. And I'm like, okay. So, you know, on the way there, he's not saying much. He's just crying and crying. And trust me when I tell you, my nights were good because I wasn't sick at night. So I'm feeling really good at this point. And we get to his house and his dad takes us down into the basement and looks at me and says, you need to have a procedure and, you know, get rid of the baby because Brian is only he's only in 11th grade. I don't want him to be a father his senior year. I think that even you thinking that is pretty selfish. So I'm just sitting there trying to absorb this and watching Brian, and he's just crying, okay? And I'm kind of looking to him to back me. Like, we're going to tell him no, right? Like, that's the plan, right? But he just won't make eye contact. He must have gotten a lot of pressure from them. I have no idea. He's like, you need to think about this. You're being very selfish. And that's all I could think about was that word, selfish. Like I was being so selfish in wanting to have this baby. So I went home, told my parents, and they were not happy at all. They were like, oh my God, like, because his parents didn't even talk to my parents, which they thought it should have been a conversation that everybody had, right? That we all were on board with what was going to happen. Since my parents had already been in a situation where they had me as a teenager, they didn't even understand it as being a real problem. I mean, after the shock wore off, it really just wasn't for me, okay? I was pretty lucky in that respect. even extended family, okay? Brian's parents just were not on board with this at all. And his dad was like, he's going to get a college scholarship for football, and this is going to ruin everything because he's going to be a dad and he's going to have a baby. And I was just like, oh my God, like I didn't even think that far, really, I guess. I don't know. I guess we just didn't think that way. We weren't thinking about anything other than having the baby. And I remember laying in my bed that night and just thinking about, like, I don't want to be selfish, right? Who wants to be called selfish, really? Like, and that's all I could think about. I was consumed with the word selfish. And I thought, okay, if having the baby is selfish, then not having the baby must be unselfish, right? I mean, is that the deal? Like, so I have to be unselfish in wanting the baby, and because having the baby is being selfish. And that's where my 16-year-old brain just got messed up. If I could relive that moment of not feeling that way, or talking myself, or having somebody say to me, you are not being selfish. If I just would have had somebody to just tell me that, so much grief and shame and anxiety in my life would have just not been there. But there wasn't that person. And my parents, I don't know. I don't know why they didn't fight more. I mean, my mom and I did talk about it a lot as I got older. She said that even though she was really against it, she didn't want me to have to live with the consequences of, like, if they were going to be difficult, what that was going to look like for my future. She looked at it as kind of like a way out of not just the pregnancy, but the situation of Brian and his family. Like, maybe that isn't my forever. And especially if they feel that way, that maybe there was another answer for me being with Brian, or me being connected to Brian. And maybe that was some of what she was going through when she was that age. So she told me that's kind of how she was thinking, but she was pissed. I mean, I remember her saying, if you have to go through this, they are not going to be silent in this. She made sure that they went to doctor appointments with me. I had 2 doctor appointments before the procedure. And the funny part is that the doctor who did the procedure, I went to school with his son. That was awkward. So just saying. She made them like hyper involved in what I was doing, because she was like, I am not doing this on my own as your mom. They are going to see what you're going to have to go through and the pain that you're going to have to go through. I see I'm almost up at 10 minutes now. And so I think it's a good place to stop, because I want to go more into exactly what it is that I did go through and how it's not easy. Okay? Don't listen to people. I don't know anybody that's ever said that it was easy, because it is the exact opposite of easy. So bye for now.